lichess and Twitch. International Master William Paschall, aka Sladgie, here with the Ponda. What's up, Ponda? Weird Wednesday, I like to call it. So we're trying to play some unusual openings, taking blitz and rapid challenges, casual. What is up, everybody? Wednesday, January 29th, 2020, believe it or not. Okay. I started a couple minutes early here. Everyone gathered around the woodshed, as Emery Tate liked to say. So, let's get a game here. Tournaments. Create a game. It's hard to find a lobby. Hard to find a good lobby. 3 plus 5. I like to play with increment so we can talk about the game. 5 plus 8. A little bit heavy on the increment there. I don't see why we need 8-second increments. In blitz rapid. Increment heavy. Here's a 5-0 game. Untainted. He's already got a game. 3 plus 6. 3 plus 6. Alright, let's try this 3 plus 6. It's kind of like a 5 plus 3. 3 plus 6. I do the 5-second increments usually. So weird openings. Let's give it a whirl. Steinitz actually played this. I think. I think he did. It looks like something he would play. Oops. Queen h5. Speaking of Steinitz. Something he liked to do with the white bits. As they say on the other side of the pond. Oh, I'm on the other side of the pond. Wait, I'm in Hungary. What's up, Warnaki? Oh, you saw it. Check. No problem. It's reverse Steinitz King's Gambit. Sort of. With an extra move. It's Weird Wednesday. I have the center. Okay, the two most important factors in chess. 3, let's say. Development, control the center, and king safety. Well, we have the control of the center, I guess. To a good degree here. The king safety part looks a little shaky. Development's still a little shaky. Am I blocking the board? Are you serious? Oh, I'm blocking the board. The board got moved. Alright, sorry guys. Something weird with my Streamlabs app. I'll have to fix it. Obviously. It's really weird. When I saw it, it looked like it was off to the one side. Now it's back. That's bizarre. How did that happen? Really strange. Don't know why it did that. Of course I'm blocking the board. When I was like preparing the stream, it looked like it was off to the other side. That's why I moved it like that. Now it looks like it's normal again. Alright, this is an interesting move. Queen e2. White's what is White's deal? 1968 rapid, almost no games. Okay, normally I would not play a player with this. I didn't know he was like provisional with almost no games. You can't trust them. You can't trust these guys with the provisional ratings based on 50 games. But it's a warm-up game. Whatever, maybe he'll crush me like a computer. I don't know. That's why I don't play people with less than 100 games. He's played like perfectly so far. We're taking subscriber streams, subscriber challenges first. Mondays and Wednesdays. I'm trying to play the Steinitz King's Gambit in reverse. Unfortunately, my opponent has almost no games. Looks suspicious. He probably won all of his games. Looks like a tactic here. Maybe even worse. Bishop g5. Yeah. I think we'll just resign. Let's check this out. This is not an engine move. This is. This is not. This is not. Hard to say. It just may be that I'm crazy. He did miss this knight takes d5 check. I don't think he's a computer if he misses that move. He played bishop g5, which is pretty overwhelming too, actually. I don't see how I hold this. Just lost. Just lost. I don't know. Suspicious. Crushing me like that in a warm-up game. Not a good opening, I suppose. Let's see. f5, e takes f5. So nobody plays e takes f5. So it looks like d5, surprisingly, is too risky to play. Even knight f6, though. Knight f6, g4. Maybe something like that. I thought I would get away with this. It says knight c3, a6 dubious. What do you want me to play? Isn't this a threat? Like knight to b5? Oh, I can play king d8 with the idea of queen e7. Doesn't look a lot of fun. Alright, you must have 100 games to play. No more of these people with 50 games or less. Castellani challenging me to 5+3. 5+3 through 7+3. Weird openings, but that wasn't good. That was too extreme. A little bit of an early resignation there. I think -7 is convincing, though. He didn't seem too intimidated by the master. It's usually a bad sign. Much lower rated players should be intimidated. If they're not intimidated, there's something wrong. I'm intimidated by people who are 400, 500 rating points higher than me. I don't know about you guys, but I am. You know, when I play 2700s, it's very hard to get out of my mind that I'm playing a 2700 player. And it should apply the other way too. That was just too easy for my opponent, though. I guess. Alright, weird openings. What are we going to do today? What are we going to do today? I had an idea. That was not a bomb cloud. I don't know what this is, but we're going to try it. It's like the delayed Alekhine. The Alekhine Khan. The Karo Kin. The Karo Kin. Bishop to e3. Obviously, the critical line is e5. Knight h6 is good. You can do one of those today. Okay, I'm not too excited about that. Hey, what's up, Morales? I'm not too excited about d5, e5 after that Morales game the other day. Well, we could still transpose to a form of check defense after, what, knight c3? Seems like bishop d3 leaves the dark squares, like d4, a little bit less protected. Somehow I should be angling for that. It's hard not to transpose like a Pierce or oh, I dropped a pawn. What am I thinking? Pro commentator, the delayed Alyekin. The delayed Alyekin. Was he delayed often? I wonder, with all that drinking. Seriously, I don't know the history of things like that. I mean, I know like Walter Brown came to the board, but he's a modern player. Came to the board late a lot. What famous players were, historic players were late to their games frequently? That I do not know. Form of the Pierts. Never give up the center. Rishuk is late, really? That's typical, right? It's always the time pressure guys who come late. They want to make it worse. Walter Brown, Rishuk, Karpov. Karpov not always in time pressure, but did sometimes get. Yeah, Karpov wasn't a time pressure addict, but he was known occasionally to get in bad time pressure. Kamsky came to the board late against me, and it was ironic because I had no chess set. It was ridiculous. Like, I'm sitting there waiting for Gata, and neither of us has a chess set. He came 15 minutes late to the board. I've told the story before. Probably Morales heard it, but I'm just sitting there like at an empty table with no chess set. Like, he should have been 15 minutes behind on the clock, but since I had no set, I couldn't claim a time advantage. I was wondering about old players, though. Does anybody know historic stories? Really old generation players? Alyekin. He came drunk. I like the way White's playing this. Rook A, E1. I need to develop my pieces here. White. Ask Jim. Actually, we should ask Uber Driver. He's the expert. I forgot he could do that. Castellani 1400, ripping me apart. You're not letting any of your relatives play. This is really you, right? No brothers or cousin. You're really 1400. I mean, weren't you like 2000 and you're a different player? I'm sorry. I'm thinking of someone else. I'm sorry. I'm mixing you up with someone else. But 1400, who was it? 1400 seems kind of low. I totally spaced on bishop takes a6, It's so strange to not see that that's possible. Crazy. He's playing more like a 1300. So 97 check is a serious problem, or is it? Maybe not. I don't think it's that big a deal. I mean, I lost a pawn, which is kind of a big deal, but I think still 1400 is absurd. How could you be 1400, dude? You're 1800 in classical. Just that's weird. 14 games, but you can't have a 400 point difference in your ratings. Queen A3. You're playing Queen A3 and you're 1400. Okay, then. Should I just resign now, or? What is this? This is not a 1400. I mean, what is this about? What is this? You're not 1400. What are you doing here? You're having someone else playing your account? I mean, why are you playing like a 2000 player? I'm not doing this just for, to play people's relatives and master friends and stuff. Alright, whatever. Let's play a serious game. I don't think it's cool, that people are 1400 and play like they're masters and stuff. Let's not waste our time. All right, what's up, Antonio? No more 1400 masters or whatever. I'm not even going to get started. You play like that and you're 1400, you're banned from the stream. Yeah, the Forbidden website is forbidden because, well, that's my first experience with that website. I mean, every single player I played was using a computer. I think I played like 10 games the first couple weeks when I made an account, and 8 of them were computers. That didn't encourage me to like that chess site. I was pretty much done. Alright. Morales is playing the weird opening here. Voldemort? What is the Voldemort? I'm sorry. Having a little trouble focusing after these two first interesting games. But I don't want to play computers. The site that shall not be named. I like that better. The Voldemort. It's like bad. It's not fair for Voldemort, I think, to call it that. What do we do here? Bishop h3? It's a weird move. I don't know what to play. Don't even say it. I don't know what's worse, the cheaters, the owners, or the awful interface, because I hate all three. White should have a slight advantage here, but I'm not finding it really easy to figure out. Queen a4 check, man. I mean, Morales hates trading queens, so now he's going to have to play king e7 to be true to himself. But don't say that out loud. Okay, clearly white is better here. Master Zanga, I'm trying to just calm myself. If you're 1400, play like 1400. Don't play like a 2200. And I won't be angry. Morales is in big trouble. Maybe 97. It doesn't look good. See, Morales is 1998 playing like a 1998 today. He's playing more like a 1798 in this game. Maybe even a 1698. Sometimes he plays better, though. The last Samo game was brutal. I think he's underrated, although it seems strange to say that this game. But he's playing a weird opening. He's having fun. I mean, Bishop G4. It's actually, I don't know if that's your repertoire, or is this something you're doing especially for today, Morales? You're normally, I don't know what you play against this. I feel like black played a weird opening, but it's marginal. I think it's like one of the better ways to play against knight f3 for a win, as I said before. I mean, it's just a subsequent mistake. I mean, this is pretty weird. To play knight c6 here, actually to play e5 is wrong. So this, we should actually stop here probably and make the comment that e5, I think. e5 is maybe dubious. Typically you want to set up like a light squared pawn formation after giving up your white squared bishop. That king is chillin'. Chilly willy. Not good. I'm finally waking up a little bit. Wow. Cold-blooded and strong. Get out of my face with that knight. No way. Bishop a5 check. It's not going to be enough. Can't believe it. Knight d5 is like an immovable object. Good to see you, Blobix. Antonio. Jim? I feel like he already played knight h4. So bishop a5 check. Shouldn't this be sort of deadly? What's my plan, though? What does bishop a5 check do? Knight c5 first. But it's still no way to knock him out. And he's got f5 up his sleeve as well. Oh boy. There really ought to be a way to kill him here. Almost have rook takes c6. There's got to be something here. Where is it? Knight d3? Maybe... How do I break through? Wait a second. Bishop e1. Bishop a5. Rook takes d5. Bishop a5 check. He's got like a million choices in that position. Bishop a5 check b6. Knight b7 check. Rook takes c6. I'm going to fall short at some point when he plays f5. Come on now. We got to get rid of the knight on d5. Mule Skinner's here too. Get Mule Skinner, Antonio. Does bishop a5 check win a pawn? Seriously? I didn't think it was so simple. I still have no breakthrough. He's got to take. Nothing to see here, folks. Just move along. Knight b4, bishop b4. Just a passed pawn. But it's no longer like fully blockaded. Well, it is blockaded actually. Ooh, that's nasty. Rook c6. No, it's not quite gonna work. Does Fritz still exist? Are you serious? Man, they probably sell them for like 300 euros. I dropped by the chess-based website the other day. I was like, they don't get many customers, but the ones they do must be really rich. Yeah, F5, what else? How do we finish him off here? This is ridiculous. Check. D7. And I can't get in there. This is crazy. There's no way in. There's one way in. Rook takes c6. It would work now. Some realities. I wish rook takes c6. If my bishop were still on b4, it would be playable. That would be brutal. And then d8 check. Takes with the bishop with the king on e7, win the knight on h4, then get it trapped. But he can't play f4 because the rook's on e6 with the bishop on h3. Long series of tactics. Now we got challenged by a 1400 who's actually 1400, according to my prior experience, which is refreshing. This is all I've got. Win a stinking pawn? Not so simple. We might have something. King e7, bishop g3, and f5 falls. Okay, we're good to go. We might win a game today. Master is angry. But I don't like people posing as 1400s to troll me. 1400 is 1400. Relatively weak player. Enough is enough. Two bishops. So bishop, I guess bishop g5 here. Does not try it. I was surprised by that. Is this necessarily worse? He's still not dead. I'm a pawn up, but I have very strong bishops. Very strong pawn center. Still not easy to put him away. Don't really want to trade my bishop. But he's very tricky. You got to keep it simple against Morales, or he'll punish you on the clock. I feel like I have some sort of connected pass pawns. Actually, if I could trade this off, it would be. He's done a good job to survive this far. I want to challenge but can't see his name. You can't see my name. Oh. Is the board moved over more than usual or something? What is different? We'll try to correct the board after this. Morales has left the building. Very rare blunder. Alright, now, I had some problems with the board earlier. I'm not sure my name always shows all the way. But we can... I guess we could move the pawn to cam down. Then it's going to be in the way of the clock, though. Was this an issue before? That you can't see my name? I didn't really notice it, and no one really brought it up. The only issue is the clock. Why is this becoming such an issue? It wasn't before. If I move the camera, the pawn to camera over just a tiny bit, name is in the bottom left hand corner. It is. Oh, I have it on the bottom left hand corner, on the bottom right hand corner, you mean? Yeah. It is, but it's funny that you mention this because it seems like no one ever really brought it up. But now that you mention it, it does seem... Maybe the pawn to cam, I don't know. It really should show, I should at least be able to see my name on the site. The board may have moved over like a fraction. Let's see. Let's see if I can move the board over a fraction to help. All right, window capture. Then the leaves get on the board, but that's still close. And we'll leave the, it almost shows now. There's a leaf on A2. All right, whatever. Space top left. I never did that. It would be weird, but you're right. I could put the pawn to cam up there. There's nothing else up there. Stack the camera up there. Let's see how it looks. Oh, oops. Oops. What is going on? If I put it up there, I guess there's nothing up there. This is going to be weird. Never had this look before. Ponda is the brains of the operation. So he should be on the top. Maybe that's better, actually, in the long run. Perhaps. I'm just trying to think, is there anything up there at any time that would matter? Okay. I'm taking challenges here from the subscribers first, which means Mule Skinner. I'm trying to play weird openings. We lost to a provisional player with the King's Gambit reversed, Steinitz variation. Then we lost to a quote-unquote 1400. Playing some kind of weird opening. Very strong 1400. And then, I mean, my resignation was emotional. An interesting game against Mule Skinner. Now, I mean, against Morales. Now, Mule Skinner, it's good to get Mule Skinner out of book, actually. I've had very good results with the Scandinavian. He's good at what he knows. Trying to focus on playing kind of weirder openings today. Someone suggested knight h6. The leaves are unnecessary. Well, I can change, you know, now we're getting to Bob territory. I should change, you know, change the layout, I know. Knight g8 would be a horrible move. We're hoping for bishop takes h6. Well, I could definitely do like a better layout, but that's not my sort of field of expertise. I think I left it because Bob hated it so much. I sort of... It just encouraged me not to make a new one, just to annoy him more than anything. The more he rallied against it, the more I wanted to keep it. Railed, I should say. But it's the Ponda theme, it's alright. Soltigo made it. Bob scared him off. Knight c3 is one of the best moves. I think the other way to play is taking on d5. It's basically a Caro-Kann if I play c6. It is what it is. I can't really come up with anything better. I tried taking though, I guess. Taking and c6. It's a very peculiar Caro-Kann. I mean, I've definitely played this. One knight h6 with the idea of d5 on move 2 can be played two different ways, obviously. You can play knight h6 on move 1, or you can play d5 on move 1. And it's not objectively a good opening. I have played it. It usually throws people off psychologically. Not as bad as it seems. This is a novelty. I don't think I've ever played this before. Seeking exchanges in a cramped position with knight to d6. I think my default move for the most part when encountering this has been to play c6 rather than d takes e4. Keep hoping for white to take on h6, basically. Perhaps the position isn't that bad, is all I can say. Opening principles, who cares? Well, I mean, you know, knight h6 is purely played to mess with people's minds. It's not intended to be a good move. The greatest benefit of it is the fact that white often doesn't take it seriously and lets down their guard. It's not as bad as you think, I suppose. I've wasted a lot of title players in blitz playing one knight h6. You'd be surprised how bad people play. I played it in two, maybe just one or two tournament games. Rapid game, a couple rapid games. I think I have a draw and a loss. So I have two draws. I guess I've never won with it. I have two draws and a loss in tournament play that I can recall. This is definitely better for white, though. Mule Skinner is too businesslike. I played over the board. I drew in a long game. I have a loss and a draw in rapid against Masters. Mule Skinner's taking it very seriously. See, that's the problem. The whole point of the opening is it's supposed to make people not take it seriously. If they take it seriously, then it is really a bad move to play knight h6 on move 1. The point is they just sort of play the first couple of moves without thinking, and next thing you know, their position isn't that good. Mule Skinner knows better. Yeah, but the game's not interesting. I mean, he just transposed to a c3 Sicilian. They're 5 moves, so it's basically a real opening. It becomes another opening, so it was kind of funny. He didn't want to try to refute the opening at all. Literally transposing to a legitimate opening after like 7 moves or something. I mean, if you want to look at it, it's interesting for the theory of the c3 Sicilian, maybe. But not for the theory of knight h6. But Mule Skinner has got me here. He missed the boat. Missed the bus. Bust the miss. So d5. d5, e takes d5, bishop g5. Hey, maybe it's not so bad. d5, e takes d5, bishop g5. I guess it's not that clear. This is the best my position's been all game. We traded some pieces. Uh-oh. Rook sack. Nah. f7. Too well guarded. Computer would still kill me here. This is not fun, though. I have not had fun this game. Man. This is dry. No tactics at all. Rook b8 may be the best, I guess. I was tempted to play queen c8. Man, Mule Skinner is taking no chances. No, I had a fun game in Rapid against Savely Golubov. My favorite variation. e4, knight h6, d4, d5. How was it now? d5, e takes d5, knight f5. I'll show you guys after the game. I can't remember. All right. This is a funny gambit with this opening. This is a blunder. Blunder! Trapped me. Maybe not. Everything was prepared. It's all prepared in advance. Knight f6, of course. Carefully prepared. Rook takes e6. I can't believe it. You're going to regret that, man. I'm telling you. Never mess with me. How much is he going to get for this? He's still probably going to get enough compensation. King h7 is not safe. Not recommended. Alright, if I take, I have what, a piece for 3 pawns? Like the practical thing to do. The practical thing. That's too many pawns. I was thinking this. It's the same problem though. I'm gonna lose a pawn anyway. Why is this better than the other variation? We had to play bishop e5. Clearly best. Dropping pieces. Feisty. He's feisty. I have to be careful here. This is sort of starting to piss me off. Oh, right. Well, that's a good move, though. Now we're on the attack. Finally. Really coordinated. Big attack. Oh man, that's made in 1. That's freaking genius. I'm a freaking genius. Made myself in 1. I have no threats. (2006). Why is he so dead set on not trading queens with 3 pawns for a knight in an endgame? I would think like trading queens would be good for him. Why would I take a draw now? He offers a draw when he starts to screw up. Still he's got something. That's why. But I mean, obviously, I'm about to drop my stuff. Damn, dude. Why do I never have any threats? Man. But determined. What does that do? Epic game. Resigns. I didn't even see a mate. I guess it's there. Crazy. He's lost somehow, but I don't see the forced win. Rook c1 check, king f2, queen g3 check. Okay, he loses a rook. There's probably a mate. Check, king g3, king e3, queen e1 check, and rook c3 mate. Yeah, it's probably mate. Mate in 4. I like how he offers a draw. Like, he was better for like 100 moves. Never offered a draw then, but like once his position started to be worse, then he offers a draw. I mean, that's fine if you're playing a lower rated opponent, but I'm a chicken, but I'm not that bad, you know. If I'm finally better, I'm not going to take a draw. He should have offered a draw when he was like clearly better. That was funny. What was a really boring opening for me turned into something interesting. Alright, I'm supposed to play weird openings. We'll play b4 or something. Can't do that. What did I say? We're supposed to play boring openings? Did I just say that? We're supposed to play weird openings, not boring ones. This is a boring one. Can I do a take back? He's cooperating. What is this called when you start with g6, e6? The lobster. The lobster is actually for white. I played a lot of h4. In Hungary, they call it the Kadash opening. Kadash Gabor was a master. I never met him. He died like 2 years ago. Played a lot of games with 1h4. That's just something that I play in blitz when I'm on tilt. What's a 12-card garage? h4 or e6, g6? I wasn't sure what we're talking about. Oh, e6, g6, it's a thing. Yeah, I've seen people play something like that over the years. It's the beginning of a hippo. One starting formation for the hippo. Basically, I'm just playing in English with h4, h5. I mean, there's many ways you could create a hippo. Double fianchetto, e6, or g6, b6, e6, d6, g6, e6. Any combination of the above. For the first 2 moves and try to play the hippo. But e6, d6, you know, immediately always seems funny because you really weaken the dark squares. But here, I mean, Black's development is completely retarded by the pawn on h6 and the white pieces. He can't keep the bishop on this diagonal effectively. But it does close off the position. So it's going to be hard to break it open. It's an interesting debate. You know, this might be better than bishop f8. Probably f6 now, trying to get a little bit of control over the dark squares is justified. I doubt black has a good position, but it may be surprisingly difficult for white to... This is probably the right decision. It may be surprisingly difficult for white to actually break through. I mean, I've played a lot of bishop takes c3 in the symmetrical English and other things like the Gingy Indian. I mean, I'm accustomed to ideas like this, where I've played c5 already in most cases. It's not that bad. It's not that good, from my experience, but it's not that bad. Like an English opening. I'm not sure knight g5 is good or not. Yeah, this is not bad for black, probably. Not that bad. Although I maybe should just think about playing d4 in certain circumstances. If knight c5, queen f3, black would have to play f5 there. But maybe it's not that bad. Imagine like knight c5, queen f3, f5, g4. That's kind of dangerous for both sides. Jim, with a massive donation, 600. Thank you. I'm playing better and better every game. I'm terrible when I start out. Usually I get warmed up halfway through the stream. Thank you, Jim. Right, knight c5. Okay, so queen f3, f5 is kind of unclear. An alternative f4 blocks out my own bishop. Bishop e3 is interesting. Essentially keeping pressure on that knight on c5, which would in turn pressurize e6. But it looks like black is okay, I guess. You can even play f6. That's probably too much, though. I guess queen d7 is forced. Queen d7, g3 I was thinking. But he's going to play f5 at some point. The f5 is a problem. So queen d7, g3, f5, bishop h3 I was actually looking at, but I'm beginning to think black has a good game. This is a mistake. So this is forced. Queen d7. And I think that black might have a good position. You played f6 one move too early. Because this actually looks good. Your g5 pawn will die, and then you're lost. I just simply come back. I don't play bishop d4. I just come back. Black should be lost here. Okay, it's not that easy. And I think he's got a really legitimate position. Jim, thank you for taking the time to join our stream. Enjoy your hellish day. Mine will be a little bit more happy. Thanks for the hate mail, everybody. Just as I suspected. Alright, bishop takes g5. Or we could take it a different way. Maybe queen g4. Maybe we can develop some pieces. This is good. This intention of queen a4 might be a useful move for black, actually. Perhaps bishop takes g5 is the way to go. It also cuts this diagonal. So I'm up a pawn, but the game doesn't win itself. a4, a5. Time to develop. Have a great day, Jim. King b8. Black doesn't have any compensation for the pawn, but his position is still hard to break through. It's such a close position, and the bishop pair isn't all that big a deal. Ultimately, I have to watch. That's not a problem. But, I mean, he should be lost here. Bishop g4. Pretty hard to get out of this. But what's my next move? Pressure on e4. Yeah, this is just a crazy move. Not necessary to sacrifice a piece there, obviously. I think you should remain calm and try to fight back slowly. This is too extreme. He loses a whole rook. You can never be too careful. However, I like that saying. Never too late to get mated on the H file. Something like that. But objectively, black's done. Extra rook is a lot. He's got c3. c3 in the sights. We need to open the dentist. I forgot to show you guys what I was talking about with the knight h6. There's a funny gambit. I wanted to just share this because I played knight h6 the other game. e4, knight h6, what I was trying to remember was there's a pawn sacrifice here. d5, pawn takes pawn, knight f5, c4, e6. I actually played this. And it was this. This happened in a rated rapid game I had. I've analyzed it fairly extensively. Black seems to have really good sacrifice compensation for the sacrifice. Sacrifice compensation, hippopotamus defense. How is it a hippopotamus defense? That's weird. This is the hippopotamus defense? Strange. Strange name. The other thing was what I wanted to show you guys something. I forgot. Oh, last game. Okay. So, can we look at this position for a second? After bishop takes c3 check, bc, b6. So the engine likes queen f3 here, huh? I didn't think it was that clear. This was too much for me. Wow, d4? That's unclear. So I played this. Yeah, and now not f6, but this move. And I think your position's fine. It's Larson-esque. Very similar to the symmetrical English line. I played a lot of games with like c4, c5, with symmetrical knights, bishops, fianchetto. This variation. The same thing happens here. I have a lot of games in these type of positions with like bishop takes c3, b takes c, f5 sometimes. It's not necessary to play f5. You can play without f5. Maybe d6, e6, knight e7, queen d7, b6, bishop b7, f6. So there's a definite basis for what black just did. I'm showing up in the top games for that opening. That opening, well, nobody plays that opening. Yeah. That other thing I showed you is my joke opening. All right, we're trying to play unusual openings here. Jim, thank you for the donation, 600 bits. We need as much support as we can. Keep the stream going financially, so I don't have to go out and get a real job. I had like 2 people ask me that last week. What do you do for work? All right, awkward party questions. Let's see. The birds opening. The king f7, a good Portuguese gambit. Yeah, no, that's fun. I would love to play one knight h6 if I could get that gambit every time. It's totally playable. It was a strong player, like a young FM who went right into that line. It was a draw. He's now a GM, I think. Everyone I've played knight h6 against is at least an FM or a WGM by now. F4, E5. I guess we should try a King's Gambit. Or maybe not. Let's accept it. Nah. I had the feeling black wants a King's Gambit. I'm playing a Dutch player. Not a good idea to play. Don't play the Dutch against the Dutch. It's a reverse Dutch. So f takes e, and then I wanted to try something. Knight f3? Is that it? Oh, this is not the main line. Definitely not the main line. Alright, so knight c6, knight f3, g5, or d6. Those are your options, sir. f6. f6 maybe not that bad, believe it or not. All right, so what happens if d4 now? d4, g4, knight g5. It seems like that should be okay for white. Where's Jeroen? Our former Dutch moderator. He was here for the Simon on Sunday. I think he was drunk and played really badly. But that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Maybe I'm in trouble after bishop h6. Bishop h6, h4. Doesn't look so bad, actually. And then he takes with the pawn. Then I can play knight takes h3. Queen h4 check. g3. Queen g3. Knight f2. This variation doesn't really work out. Bishop h6, h4. Pawn takes h3. Knight h3. Queen h4 check. g3. Takes. Knight f2. Bishop, and I lose the d4 pawn. Well, maybe that wouldn't be such a big deal to lose the d4 pawn at the end of that line. There's certainly a million other moves he can play. I'm only looking at bishop h6. It actually looks kind of artificial. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding about knight f7. Opening Twilight Zone. d5 looks sound. I would imagine that black has compensation for the pawn. This is not, maybe not enough, but some. Guys, I'm going to have to go around 1 o'clock today. I've got an audio chess recording I have to do. Oftentimes on Mondays and Wednesdays. Man, that's not a good square. On g6. What do we do now? There's no way to take advantage of it, though. I want to play queen d3, but big deal. Big deal. But I think white is probably better here. What to do, though? When he takes on e5, what do I answer with? All right, bishop f4 is possible. Just keeping the pawn. Kind of materialistic approach, but it does develop. I almost play queen d3, but I don't see what it does. And we really need to get developed. This helps protect my king too. Back here. Obviously protecting e5. No choice. My queen has good range. Speaking of queen range, Simon Williams-esque queen b4 check. Now, if I just lose this pawn on e5, suddenly black's position starts to look pretty reasonable. However, before the endgame, the gods have placed the middle game, as they say. So now it's adventure time. I don't know if you watch Cartoon Network, but if you don't go for adventure time, there could be some problems here. It just loses a piece, doesn't it? d5 is over. You had to go for adventure time. And I don't know what's happening after that. It should be good for white somehow. I would imagine that you can't do that, can you? Queen b4. Maybe black's just busted here. Busto. Busto. This is not good. g5, g4. Okay, I mean, I think h6 might have been a mistake. But even after h6, like, you could play knight e4, d5. d5. I guess white's still got a very strong center remaining. Bad from. He's in bad from. Bad play on words. Bad chess plays on words. There is no good from. The only good from is a dead from. Helicopter. Coming to pick up his dead body. Not exactly helicopter weather here, I would say. It's like foggy with rain constantly for the last week. Wouldn't think it would be a wise time for choppers, especially after Kobe's accident. Queen f5. Too much material. Look at the center. Now, this is control the center. You know you have control the center when you have a square of pieces in the center. Who controls the center better here? White or black? I don't think I've ever had that. You know? I don't think I've ever had 4 pieces on all 4 central squares. I mean, it must have happened at some point, but I never consciously thought about it. It's kind of funny. He's in good form. Okay, guys, we have an hour left. Imre and Azmir. I don't want to disturb the picture. That's the problem. Acerbate's missing today. He would love this. It's still no mate. Yes, it is. All right, beautiful. So seriously, what happened in the theory here? The theory of the Fromm's gambit. Knight c6 is unusual. This is the first thing. He plays knight c6, but it shouldn't be a bad move. How bad can it be to play knight c6? Now g5, d4, g4, and this was correct. So my instincts. Lars Carlson, Danielle Vocturo, and Simon Williams actually playing white of all things. Simon Williams was channeled during the stream. h6 is not a good move. My bishop h6 was played once, but it appears that the other suggestion was played d5 earlier. Daniel Gormali. You can ask him on Facebook what he thinks about this game against Piasecki. Black has to be worse here. d5 is the best move. h6 is bad. d5 is the best move. E takes d5. Black doesn't have enough. It's a good Fromm. All right. Imre. Poor Mubat. This has actually been played before. I don't think knight c6 is as good as the main line. I think it's clearly less good. All right, let's try something weird. I wanted to play a weird Scandinavian Reprincev variation with knight c6. Alex R. He's on lichess. This is a Russian IM who lived in the United States for a long time. He would play this every single game, Scandinavian with the knight on c6. It's kind of a crazy opening. We'll give it a shot. I'm not sure how good it is versus knight f3 versus d4. The queen is very easy to get trapped here on a5. Normally the move order is like d4 first. So I'm not sure. This is probably giving black more options. Feels like we should play bishop g4, though we don't really have a threat. Now I'm gonna guess we're gonna get transpositions to other variations, like d4 against the Scandinavian, which isn't so good. Queen takes d5, d4. For example, one of our subscribers, Acerbate, plays that all the time. I would think we would be close to a transposition to other variations with knight f3 and d4 now. They're actually pretty good for white. Actually, another one of our subscribers, Move 11, is quite a good player. He had a game recently with knight f3 against the Scandinavian. Looked very similar to this. I believe this is book. The queen oftentimes has to come back over here to like maybe f5. I don't know why it would move necessarily. What's going to attack at b4? This actually looks good for black. e5, d5. Can't be played. I mean, what is he going to do after e5? So it's a bad version. Bad version. White is teetering on the brink of disaster. Don't know what to recommend here. White most likely has to lose material. h3, bishop takes f3, bishop takes f3. Pawn takes d4, bishop takes c6, b takes c, bishop takes d4, c5, wins a piece. Let's see. Looks like that wins a piece. What can white play? d5 just loses a pawn. b4 doesn't help. I just rip it off with the bishop. Looks like white is in a very bad place. e4, d5, e takes d5, queen a5. Queen takes d5, you mean? There's something wrong with your analysis, LVN. E takes d5. That's illegal. You're recommending illegal moves. That's not good. You must have skipped a move. You mean e takes d5, queen takes d5. Knight c3, queen a5, b4. You skipped a move. That's all. Somebody suggested that they shared a game they played against the Snake Oiler on my Thursday stream with that b4 line. Snake Oiler plays that. I think you like, honestly, I've played this before, but e takes d5, queen takes d5, knight c3, queen a5, rook b1. Elvis' move is much, much, much better than that gambit, and it's fun and it's equally dynamic. 4 rook b1. With ideas of b4, you can just play interesting game without actually sacrificing a pawn. I think it's far better for white. Good to see Bob's back with us. Don't hide in the dark, Bob. Come out. We'll forgive you. I'm just completely speculating that the sexual pervert troll is Bob. But it wouldn't surprise me. They have a lot in common. Anyway, guys, inside joke, inside story. Don't worry about it. So, if I take on e3, play f6, I mean, I gotta believe this is plus minus, as they say. We need to keep our white squared bishop. However, whatever goes down, we need to keep this white squared bishop. A3 looks a bit slow, but he was concerned about bishop e4. What are you going to do about the e3 pawn, though? Do you even care? Knight a4. This is... There's no need to sacrifice pawns in the first 4 moves. Just play sound chess. So you can be creative without giving away unnecessary pawns. I'll take a free pawn. In this case, black, you know, white didn't make like a really overt mistake if you think about it. He just played a little passively for like 1 move and suddenly has a bad position. It's not like white made tons of mistakes in this game. Queen takes e3 check. Bring the bishop back. Or just leave the pawn there. I mean, as I said, I really don't want to lose my white square bishop. His bishop is very bad. This pawn is going nowhere. I'm probably not taking that pawn on b2. It would open up lines against my king. Objectively, I'm sure like the computer would take on e3 immediately. Probably I should. But sometimes it's better to play the move that like the opponent doesn't necessarily expect. You know, he's probably mostly analyzing queen takes e3 check. So when we play bishop e6 and we leave the pawn there, I think it's practically more problematic for the opponent. You know, now he has to worry about this pawn, this nagging pawn. Should he protect it or not? You know, if you just take it, then it's something less for him to have to think about. Give him more things to think about. I mean, that's really the key to winning in chess. Try to give the opponent lots of problems to have to work out. I mean, if I just take the pawn, maybe it's easier for him to play the position. Yeah, thank you for the game, Jay Dara. Yeah, it was a good game. I enjoyed that, and I think that the way you played is totally valid, if not a little bit extreme. Had you played queen d7, it's a position I would risk myself, you know, with black to try to win against, say, like a weaker player. Probably lose trying, but can you play the Budapest Gambit? I'll try. Yeah, that's a good choice. Not because I live in Budapest. Just a coincidence. What is weird in the Budapest Gambit? Well, it's weird for me. I don't normally play it. I mean, the Budapest Gambit is almost a mainstream opening. It's like on the... But I don't think it's like completely legit. Now, just see what happens when you leave the pawn there. Give them a chance to make a further mistake. If I had taken that pawn, he never would have lost the knight on c3. Practical chess advice. We will try to play a Budapest Gambit if I get the black bits. Try to play it with white. Wait. Asmir will never cooperate. He probably doesn't even play d5. See, I wanted to play the Budapest reversed, but it's not going to happen. They have to play d5. I was going to try our weird idea to play knight f3, d5, a4, till I get a better suggestion for how to play the Budapest Gambit in reverse. But I think the Budapest is sound. You know, it's actually sound. Of course, the definition of that is kind of vague. What is sound exactly? I played a game the other day, Rook G1. That's actually been played by this weird German master, Horst Alber, who I've noticed has a whole bunch of games and all kinds of bizarre, ridiculous openings. It's actually been played. I don't know what opening you're talking about. What is that? Is it a true gambit if you can get the pawn back? If you can get the pawn back by force, is it a true gambit? Another question. What is a true gambit? You can almost get the Budapest pawn back by force, right? Maybe not though, because we can play with queen d5, hanging on to the pawn in the one main line. It may be hard to get it back by force. White plays doggedly. e3, d5, knight f3, c5, e4. e3, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, bishop c5. Too much cooperation required from my opponent to play something like that. I mean, we should have like a thematic tournament one day. Or just a thematic stream. Right, the Queen's Gambit is called a gambit, but it's not really a gambit. It's a temporary sacrifice. I think this is a really good way to play against b4. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. A lot of people will revert to like an English type of setup. Somehow I feel like it's more correct to play a hedgehog with e3. Maybe because this pawn requires support. Problem with fianchetto setups, oftentimes your c pawn's not protected. Bishop f5 is a strange move. That's not really right. But how big a mistake is it? We're talking about like the tiny inaccuracy kind of thing. Bishop f5 is some sort of very small inaccuracy. You're talking about what? Antonio. I'm saying, yeah, knight c3 instead of knight bd2 in the Budapest Gambit, of course. The main variation. In that main variation, I mean, a lot of good players play that line with white. Ben Bailey, who's a huge d4 theoretician, for example, I saw play it. The best for black is probably to permanently sacrifice a pawn with the real gambit f6. Then it really becomes a gambit. I don't think that black should play that system with like queen a3. But even that might be playable. That's considered to be like the main line. Probably it's critical, you know. I don't think Van Bailey would play something unless it was like theoretically critical. Yeah, he just killed some guy. It was a queen a3. But f6 at least gives black some chances. Pretty good chances, practically speaking. So, yesterday I had a game with, that was b3. Blobix, you missed the tournament yesterday? a4. Why not? We'll grab some space on the queen side. Some pizza later. Oh, you play it. You play it both. You might want to compare notes with your countrymen on that variation. Does this lose material? No. Knight d4, bishop g6, knight h4, bishop e6. But knight h4 is interesting. Knight h4, bishop e6, pawn takes e4, knight takes e4. Does that even do anything for me? I have knight d4. Oh, all right. We're going to get his dark squared bishop. But it's hard to understand what b6 did. I didn't even mention this. This was some sort of automatic reaction. But it's a weakening move and unnecessary. It's okay if you want to play bishop b7, but if it's empty, these are empty squares. This is just a weakness for black on the queen side. b6 to prevent c5. Prevent something. Now if he takes on d3, I take on f5, takes on e2, take on e7, check, I win. Nothing. Actually, why can't he play that way? I'm sorry, I win a piece in that variation. Nothing major, just a piece. So here, and all this to get his bad bishop? Really? Now we have a legitimately interesting position. Because if I just take his bad bishop, it kind of makes you ask the question, like, was it really worth it? All this trouble for that thing? But on the other hand, my knight can get undermined by knight b8. But at least I could force him to do that, which would be an accomplishment in and of itself. Making him play knight b8 would probably be worthwhile, I would say. How many of you would play this move? Oops, I think I made a mistake. Did I have a tactic? D takes E, knight takes E4, knight takes E4, bishop E4. I tried to find queen D4, but he has bishop F6. And my B2 bishop drops at the end of the day. So I don't win anything there. D5. Wow, okay. I think we can win the battle for D5. Win the battle for the center. Center. Try to promote fundamental. Wow, losing a piece. I knew that wasn't good. No, he just didn't calculate. Lack of calculation is the #1 killer of chess players. Playing too fast, and I think they're connected. It's easy to panic, but when you have increment, you really shouldn't. But I think Asmir can be forgiven if he's not used to playing with increment. But by now he should be. He's played enough games with me. Never panic. You know what I do find hard is the FIDE time control. Has anybody else had problems with this? I just don't know how to play with 30-second increments. It's very strange. I feel like, and I have to like write down the moves. It feels like it's not enough time, but it's really a lot of time when you think about it. But it's tricky because, you know, you can kind of get lulled into this false sense of security, like I've got 30 seconds every move. But if you start thinking like it's a lot of time, then you lose on time. Oops. There it is. No, bishop f5 was kind of a weird move. b6 was a mistake. 2 bishops. So let's get some more challenges, guys. We have time for 2 or 3 more games. 5+3 through 7+3. No, Van Willy doesn't play the Budapest. He played against the Budapest. That's what I'm saying. He would never play the Budapest. No, he crushed it, you know, but he plays like that line with knight c3, you know, which is funny because most strong players don't. But he's a great theoretician with d4, so it's interesting that his choice is... He's the only GM I saw who would go into that main line with knight c3, allowing the doubled pawns and playing queen d5. I'm sure he's not the only one, but the only one I've seen. Most people avoid it. Look at Karpov versus Short. You know, he plays like the knight d2. And, No, yeah, absolutely, no. Loke wouldn't play the Budapest Gambit. He's very principled. But he's good against it. So I thought you'd compare notes from other sides. Mr. Coffee's here. All right. Replay. Yeah, I'll let you play d4, c4. Wait, should I play? Okay. Yeah, fine. Someone asked me to play the Budapest. For Morales. I like to play the Budapest in Blitz. Don't play the Budapest while smoking dope. That's all I know. All right. Probably. Don't play chess, tournament chess, under the influence of marijuana. Is good advice. Bishop f4. So, okay, this is one of the variations that I play, of course, one of the main lines. Check. You were the one who asked, but Morales plays the Budapest a lot. Oh, by the way, Mamedyarov plays g5, and a lot of players, I think even maybe Yabava played that. I think it's very risky for black strategically and probably incorrect. Mamedyarov plays a lot of things that are incorrect. Fabiano Mamedyarov, famous player. Now, Morales does some weird stuff with castling queenside, but I don't subscribe to that channel. It's interesting though. Morales. Nigel Short broke my heart when he defeated Anatoly Karpov in their match in the early 90s, ruining the World Championship. Karpov losing a game in the Budapest, I think. Though he won one too. I still don't understand how Karpov lost a match against Nigel Short. I don't think I'll ever... Maybe it was a conspiracy thing. If I had believed in conspiracy theories back then, probably would have had a conspiracy theory for that. But it ruined like the chances for one last Kasparov-Karpov match, which would have been really epic. Karpov was still strong enough to put up some resistance. It would have been a lot more interesting than seeing Kasparov like mangle Nigel Short. Even Karpov would have been more interesting than watching Anand play Kasparov. Even later. All right, anyway, ancient history lesson. Mamedyarov was sick for his game in Gibraltar yesterday, according to Fisher Cow. What's up? And forfeited against Praggnanandhaa, the name I can't pronounce. Just make it a legal move against the guy. It seems like the best thing. There was a tournament game here in Budapest like 2 years ago where Praggnanandhaa let his opponent make an illegal move. Castling when he'd already moved his king or something. And it made all the relays malfunction, and the Indian players were all up in arms, but it's ridiculous. If you can't, even though he's a little kid and stuff, if you can't call the arbiter and say my opponent made an illegal move. No. Forfeit is not a rated game. This is mainline. I played this with white against Chessmaster 2100 many times. One of my many games against the Chessmaster 2100, a million times. It was almost unbeatable. Chessmaster 2100, or maybe it was a later one. It had to be a later one, I'm sorry. It wasn't Chessmaster 2100, whatever, the Chessmaster. When it was really legitimately master strength. The 2000, whatever the last Chessmaster programs were. It wasn't 2100, that was an old one I had on the Apple. Chessmaster or something like that. It was programmed to play the Budapest Gambit. It was hard to crack it. This is almost impossible to crack Black's position. I don't think that b6 is the main move, though. I saw Yermo play it. It was kind of weird in itself. Alex Yermolinsky, ultra-principled Soviet player playing the Budapest Gambit. It's weird to call him a Soviet player, but he was trained in the Soviet system. e4 is an interesting move. Uncle Yermo played b6, I thought. I was sitting next to him. And I played him in the same tournament. So now we go for it with f5. No. You can't lose rating points for games you don't play. That would skew the rating system, unfortunately. Once I had an adjournment back in the prehistoric era, and I failed to show up to my adjournment. It was an ending with no losing chances. And that was counted, of course, because the game had begun. But if one move isn't made, it can't be rated. If one move by both players isn't made, I guess. White's better here. 2 bishops. Black has pretty good control of the center. Knocked out his central pawn. But you might be able to make a case that White's king is better safety. Therefore, White's better. Also, there's a possibility of undermining my knight. Some people think that Black is better. Everyone's entitled to their opinions. It's difficult for black to form a plan. I mean, my plan would be like a minority attack against his king-size structure, but what are you going to do? Like, checkmate yourself? I'm going to play a minority attack here. It's definitely better for white. 2 bishops. No clear plan for black. But it's not much better for white. I think like very slightly easier to play. Easier to find a plan, I would say. What is Mamajaro's rating now? He was actually my favorite to take Magnus on in a match at one point, but it seems like he's faded into obscurity. All right, so f4. You're welcome to play f4. Go for it. White's breaks on the queen side with c5. He's at 2770 now. That's strong. Slightly strong. But he didn't have the kind of epic year he had 2 years ago. He hasn't been playing that dominantly. But such a dynamic player, I think it's hard to keep it up. When you're a machine like Karpov or something, or even Carlsen, Mamajarov relies on a heavy amount of creativity, I would say. It takes a lot of energy to play like that. Magnus is like, let's say Magnus is like more robotic. Why don't I want to play? What am I trying to do? Anyway. I don't know. But I think my pawns will help control the dark squares. Whoa! He just hit me with c5. This is a radical move. Basing everything on tactics with that bishop c4, but if I play bc, bishop takes c5, rook takes e5, bishop c4, d5. I mean, I'm doubting that sound. bc, rook, bishop takes, rook takes, bishop c4, d5, f4. I could sack the exchange. f4. We don't need to sack the exchange. Let's say f4, rook f5, g4, then we sack the exchange. Yeah, I don't buy this. I mean, it may be interesting, but I don't think it's enough. Bishop takes e5, rook takes e5, bishop c4, d5, f4, rook somewhere, rook f5, g4, and then I would sacrifice the exchange with takes on c4, takes on f5, queen takes f5 with deadly threats on the white squares. White's probably lost there. But this is interesting to play this first. I didn't stop to think about it. Still. Funny, I looked at this. But here, I mean, I just have d5. Looks like we might end up having to sack the exchange anyway. Well, no, we can always play d5 and just lose a pawn back, actually. Should be fine. This just doesn't work. He has ways to make this work to some degree, probably. Like bishop d3 in between move. f4, knight g6, bishop d3. If he plays that first, I have to move my rook somewhere. But in all cases, black would have really good compensation. Okay. Bishop g4, rook f6. Do I lose an exchange? No. Yes, no. Wait. I mean, I can always play g5 if I have to. Bishop g4, g5. Probably not the best move for black, though. We have stronger. Slightly stronger. Oof. This is going to hurt you more than it's going to hurt me. That is painful. Alright guys, I have time for one last game. I have a challenge from Unicorn. He always seems to know when the last game of the stream is. Magnus is not fun. It's kind of like my ex-wife. There's no fun allowed with Magnus. Alright, Unicorn. What's up? So Unicorn 99. Mysterious player. No, Magnus can play interesting chess. It's not fair to say that. He's grown on me. I used to not like him chessically, but I don't really have opinion on him on the personal level one way or the other. He was very sportsmanlike when we played. I have no bad feelings toward him. But as a chess player, I never really liked his style, but it's kind of grown on me, I would say. What are we doing here? Yeah, I mean, he's played interesting games, the King's Gambit. You know, Magnus can play. But I think when the really important games are on the line, he's going with that 80-year-old grandmaster style that it can be hard to. And the practical play is just brutal. The level of practical play with the Magnus. They're making it easier to get chess titles. The name of the game is money, my friend. The object is to make chess titles easier to get, not harder. It's all about cash in the FIDE coffers. People have to or someone has to pay for these title certificates. They have all sorts of titles now. Arena titles. FIDE trainer titles. Every 7 different levels of FIDE trainer. I don't give a crap if I'm a FIDE trainer. It's meaningless. You go to some class where you have to pay and some people will award you with a title for showing up. I mean, it's absurd. I wouldn't subscribe to that hypocrisy. I mean, ratings inflation. There may be slight ratings inflation. Yeah, they could create another title. Sure, maybe they'll do that. Super Mega Grandmaster. That title will be even more expensive. To be a Super Mega Grandmaster, the Federation will have to pay double for their player. Or you can pay it out of pocket if you want to. Yeah, well, Ding Liren would be most people's bet, I would guess. He seems to have the best record against Carlsen. He's almost impossible to beat. Caruana didn't lose a single classical game. I mean, Caruana has a chance too, you know. So one of those two. But I think they should start practicing rapid chess. Especially Caruana needs to improve his rapid game, obviously. Caruana should be practicing for the Rapid World Championship. If Caruana brings his rapid game up to speed, maybe he could become world champion. It's ridiculous that the World Championship is decided by rapid chess, by the way. And I'm sure that I'm not the only person who feels that way. Sad. Unicorn, whoever you are. This is an interesting play on both sides of the board by white. Not a bad plan here. I was expecting knight h3, and then he plays knight e2. This seems like a strange move, though. We have a good position. b4, d takes c, b takes c. Okay, that's probably good for him. But I can take. Then knight takes b5. This is kind of unclear. Huh. So b4, d takes c. Pawn takes. Or I can play bishop b7. That's going to draw my d6 pawn. So I think I have to take here. That was not what I expected. Does anybody know who Unicorn 99 is? They never ever talk in the stream. Super strong bullet player. Not a lot of games though. No clue who they are. Looks like we're gonna lose this one. I'm just kidding. Wrecked. He's used like no time, minute, just to wreck me. Queen takes d5. They seem like they're a legit player. Yeah. I've won most of my games against them. It's raining. God damn it. I don't know what to do. I'm just lost here, I guess. Pretty devastating to crush me. I thought it was an amazing judgment. I mean, to play d5 in that position. How much time did he use? I shouldn't give up yet, but I'm lost here completely. It's crazy weather we're having. Wins that too. It's easy to be calm when you're lost. Blundered again, he instantly sees everything. That's it. What a positive way to end the stream today. He's giving me rematches. Who is this guy? You think... Check this game out. Yeah, it's like, hail. Actually... It's a game, Paschall's game in 1973. I'm most interested in d5. I missed b4 here. Just a really strong move. Yeah, it was bad. I spent all my time focusing on him playing knight h3, and when he played knight on gd2, I was sort of like stunned. But b4 is just good for black. It's ridiculous. I sat there wanting to play it the next move, and it's too late after d5. Now it's just clearly winning. I'm just dead. Yeah, you know, another thing was I was thinking about him playing this to go for d6, and he just instantly plays the best move here. Knight takes d5. And now I blundered again. I have to play king h7. At least I have some practical chances after king h7. But it's like really strong game by white. Badly played by me. No, I mean, he made mistakes at one point. I'll see you guys later. I gotta go. Thank you for subscribing. I will be back with a subscriber stream on Thursday. We're gonna be taking subscriber games. I only have a couple submissions, so we're behind on the submissions for tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. CET here on lichess. I'd like to go over maybe 10 games for the subscribers, but we don't have enough material as of now. So if you haven't yet and you intend to, please submit a game here for the stream to my account on lichess Sparkle course. Thanks everybody for playing, and we'll be back again tomorrow night at 6:30. Thanks, Mr. Coffee, Blobix, and everyone else. Please support the stream if you can. Subscribe and donate. Thank you guys again. Bye-bye. 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 See you later, guys.